for session 7 of the Dam. We're down 1 player tonight, which is Paige. She is swimming with the sharks right now. Not the movie Swimming with the Sharks, but actually swimming with real sharks. But Dave has finally joined us.
Hey there.
He's got the end. We typically keep redheads together because, you know, we're going to put Nick and Dave beside each other like we did last session.
Wiley.
We want to cordon them all.
Yeah.
That's right. In your sight. I say this as a person with a red beard. Not as red as you, though.
You have a ginger beard.
Last week we're still...
Is that why your kids have red hair, too?
Yeah, it's all blonde, yeah.
I guess it is.
They got mom's jeans.
Last week was still one of the most disorienting things of all time when there was like legitimately 3 redheads at a single table, and I was like,
I know. I actually couldn't tell the difference between Nick and Dave. Like, I was like...
legitimate and fair.
It's like why is there no... doppelgangers, no. But Sarah's back, too. She's missed her second session back, finally. Thank you. But
she's going to leave if you stop.
I'm just here now.
I know. I mostly give you endless shit because I love you. That's what you do with Kid Sister. Sorry, Sister.
Kid Sister.
Yeah.
Rhymes with Beyonce.
Okay. So, session 7. We've already rolled initiative. We have already rolled for our fortune and misfortune. So, I think we should talk about, for those who were here last week, we should actually talk about what happened in the game session. Because Dave is new. And
last game session or
last game session. Yeah, not the combat tutorial we did with Dave separately, which for those who are watching or listening have already seen it, including Dave's D&D group. Hey, what's up? He's now ours. Sorry.
Sorry, Doc.
He's now part of the cult.
PC's fun.
Zweihander for life. What happened last game session?
There was an attack. We thought there was an attack happening on the compound.
Yeah.
But it actually ended up being the Husk were chasing
Suspiriancy. Rise with Beyonce. Suspiriancy. Rise with Beyonce.
Beyonce's.
Yeah, so...
Suspiriancy. I got it.
Suspiriancy entered the game.
That's right. So from Suspiriancy's perspective, like, what was happening?
She woke up to a world that she didn't recognize and then was immediately attacked by these husks. And she came across a very scary thing. But I think we still don't know what that thing is.
He had a hat.
He had a hat, and he had really glowing eyes and a lantern.
Shark cane, too.
Yes, also a cane.
He did the thing and hurt you.
That's right, yeah.
Real bad.
He hurt me real bad.
One of that.
They had killed her in the first 6 minutes of the game.
To be fair, the dice kills Suspiriancy. Okay. But she had a fate point. That's something there for that your escape death. You still have 1 left. But yeah, it was a pretty traumatic way to re-enter the game. But it was clear that the lantern bearer, whoever this person is, was controlling the torch bearers.
We should invite him over for dinner.
Yeah, good. Hey, you want to eat some people? We know this one person. Yeah. Something for dinner, no big deal.
So you were specifically attacked by the lantern bearer, then?
Yes.
Specifically, okay, cool.
And the husk, and then my crew came to my rescue is the word I'm looking for there. And I was really quick with the thank yous. Kind of felt entitled to the rescue, so.
Yeah, you were very entitled.
Yes. Yes.
I expected dinner and my servants to have dinner ready, and I quickly realized I am in a completely different world than what I was in right before.
Own the world.
Pip Estrella was pretty clutch in that fight, though.
She was.
She broke a window out.
Yeah, busted out some stained glass windows.
So now that we have to fill that hole, another hole we can fill.
Why must you destroy art? That's the Yeah, Pipistrella. Yeah, I mean,
I
it
think
was
you lost your sling, right?
yeah, there were some critical failures rolled that night. In fact, I couldn't succeed a single fucking die roll the entire time. And somebody who only rolls like a handful of dice during a fight, that was a little frustrating, even after spending misfortune points. No, but you actually did fairly well against the husk. You managed to bring Suspiriancy into the chateau and kind of debrief, talk about what happened. Like, what did you learn? What did you talk about? Because I think we kind of discussed a little bit about like the bells in the city, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I talked with Frankie, and told me that they're, in his own way that he could understand, that at least I believe he was saying that there's a city full of people that are ringing the bell, calling out for help. That's my interpretation of it. Whether or not it's real or not is another matter entirely. So
There might be a little hope association there.
Yeah.
There was
Hopium.
Hopium. There was actually a pretty critical kind of moral quandary that came up. In fact, that Tomas kind of made a decision on regarding the bell tower and whether to extinguish the lights and the fires here in the chateau.
So we were like, who's ringing these bells? Maybe it's the husks. Maybe it's someone else. And like, we're like, maybe if we put out our fires tonight, we'll see whether these people will still be ringing, and if they're still ringing, then it's probably the husks.
Yeah.
And Tomas was like, we can't do that. We can't let someone potentially lose hope, and then the worst may happen. So
They may give up.
Tomas made the decision to keep the lights on.
Yeah, it wasn't
a voting situation.
It was hope first, basically.
Right.
yeah. It was yeah. So you made that decision, and it was probably smart. Clinging to the idea that perhaps there are others out there who are still alive.
I think it also did help that she showed up the same day that we were kind of having that discussion. It's like, well, if there's one, right? Isn't there more?
Who's to say?
Mm-hmm.
There might be another one.
Or two?
Probably just one.
Oh, you're saying that because Dave is here.
I knew, we shouldn't even done introductions. I should have just slowly risen from the table and be like, yes.
Hello. I am in fact married. So
Shit gets left around the house everywhere.
So we kind of stop the session there, and we pick back up. At the same time that you're having this, you're fine. I did the exact same thing. At the same time that this is all happening in the chateau, we turn back to the streets of the city.
Main streets.
I walk these streets with a 6-string on my back. I'm playing for keeps.
He's kind of.
I don't know where it's
Trash.
Guillaume, you are walking among the tall, shadowed buildings.
At least one.
You've extinguished your light to ensure you don't attract unwanted attention. And there are essentially kind of two places in the city you've identified as potentially being a safe haven. The first you think is halfway across the city, and that's where you've heard the bells, and when the mist parts during the day, or I should say the dusk, you can see the torch, you can see the light in a tall tower, and you can always, the bells peal at unusual times. They don't seem to track with the passage of the hour, but they ring throughout the city. But foremost in front of you is the other place that is where there are others who are alive. You can see that in the rain that there is a man who is wearing kind of a metal helmet, and he's carrying a torch. And at first you're kind of alarmed. You're like, well, this is perhaps more of the damned. but you can see his face kind of contort and move as his eyes narrow toward the boulevard where you're at. You grow closer to the manor, and it's surrounded completely by a very tall stone wall that's rimmed with iron prongs around it. This is an old manor home that was intended to hedge people out.
So from that description, then, would this man seem like somebody that's just trying to kind of loot and see what he can find in the city, or what was he doing in particular?
Good question. So he kind of paces back and forth along the stone wall, and obviously, given that this place is dangerous, you take time to kind of size up, what purpose he may be here. But he's very clearly patrolling the wall, and you've seen the damned do the same thing before. They continue in the rhythms in which when they were still alive, like that although their souls are now gone, their spirit continues the strange movements, the echoes of their life when they were still here.
From what I can see at this point, then, is that man have that same desiccation or anything like that, or is, I saw his face contort or move or whatever? Would that be something that I would associate with the damned?
The thing that you would typically notice about the damned is always the sweet smell of lilacs and autumn rot. And in the rain, it's kind of hard to really smell anything. Do you want to get a little closer and see if you can suss out?
Yeah. No, this is what Guillaume does. He has to figure it out. So yeah, absolutely.
So in order to kind of suss out who he is, you need to make an eavesdrop test.
Eavesdrop. Cool.
This test will be routine.
Okay, +10. So I have my skill rank +10 for eavesdrop. Routine is going to be +20, and then it's going to be perception. So 72.
Cool.
98. Right. I'm sorry, no, I lied. 89.
89, cool.
Still not there. Yeah.
So we do have we do have fortune points if we want to try to reroll, but it turns into a misfortune point.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that immediately. It can't be my first roll is just utter failure. But it's going to be 88.
No. Oh, critical failure.
Yep, that's a critical
Sweet.
failure.
Oh no.
Well,
Off to a good start, boys.
the first thing that you discover is that you're not sure if you can smell whether or not that in fact they are one of the damned. You can't. The rain is too much rain.
Mm-hmm.
But you can hear before you know it, within just a few yards of you, is this tall, haunting figure, dressed head to toe in this black and bronze brigandine, who wields this wickedly long black blade that you can hear the rain kind of plinking off the edge as it's kind of leveled toward you. You found this point, Clovis. You found the person who's been meandering around the yards of the chateau.
If you're living, move into the light.
Immediately, Guillaume will just stand and very carefully, very consciously, and not at all like the damned, walk into the light.
He doesn't go.
Yeah, no. It is
Well, I was waiting for the speak.
Fresh baked bread.
Whatever it is you would like me to say, I will say it gladly. My name is Guillaume. I'm simply just trying to find some refuge somewhere amongst this nightmarish city. Happened to come upon two possibilities, and this was the closer option. So just try to survive for this day. That's it.
Well, I don't make those decisions. Tomas does. Oh,
Toma.
Toma. Sorry. Toma makes those decisions.
Any particular way I might speak with Thomas?
What do you have on you?
and kind of checking through very quickly, he will.
I don't mean your goods. I'm not trying to steal from you. What do you have on you as weapons?
Within the raid,
You've been sneaking around out here for a few hours, and why wouldn't you just approach the gate like a normal living person would?
Well, to be fair, when I normally go towards gates, the city is filled with living people to begin with. In this particular case, it is not. That is why I've been sneaking around at all. And whenever I see a well-armed and armored man guarding something, I probably want to take my time and be sure what he's doing too. That's all that was. I do not mean any sort of ill will. And then in terms of weapons, you see not particularly armored. You see a very thin dirk and a boulder that he presents very lightly and not in any sort of armored way. Like this is the totality of my weaponry.
All right, come this way.
Much obliged.
And once we get inside, I'll have him leave his weapons by the gate.
Guillaume has no problem with that.
Bells peal once again, and you actually kind of crawl through the rubble of what looks like a half-destroyed wall, and you have to squeeze between a wagon that's been set against the hole in the wall. And as you come into the yards of this chateau, you kind of pause for a moment and you look all around along the ground, and amid the soil and the kind of wet, folded grass are these endless bones sticking out of the ground, like literally everywhere. It almost looks like hundreds of bones have been poured into the yard within this wall of the chateau.
Like, and these would be like almost coming out of the ground. These aren't fresh. These are like,
yeah,
okay, like almost somebody made like spikes or something like that along the ground.
Yeah, they kind of rattle beneath your feet as you move. Whereas Clovis just seems to, or this man, I should say, walks among them without any care, kicking them aside. You can see they made kind of tracks through them. In fact,
turning to Clovis, Guillaume, seems like y'all might have had a number of scuffles here. Would that be a correct assessment?
What? Oh, the bones.
Yeah.
You not know what death is? I mean, obviously these have been here for a very long time.
No, I was more so in conjunction with, say, the blown out hole in the wall and the cart and bend the bones. So more all of it.
That happened before we got here.
Oh.
We're trying to fix it.
Got it. Well, if I can help.
Obviously look around. It was a graveyard. Or
A garden! You hear off in the distance.
a small woman kind of emerges from within. She looks like she was standing within a carriage house.
Okay.
And inside the carriage house, you can hear this deep snorting of a horse, and you can hear the cackling of crows inside. What does Pipistrella look like in this scene? Like what would Guillaume see?
You see a fairly short, young woman wearing a priest and nun's habit, and she has wimple on that she keeps adjusting, like over and over again, like just doesn't sit on her head right.
Okay.
And then she walks in front of Clovis, bends over right in front of him and starts picking up the bones in front of his feet, and like starts moving them and putting them in piles to create a pathway. Like she says, "That's better now, isn't it?"
Thanks, Pip.
It's very pretty out today.
Well, I do typically enjoy the rain, and you do see Guillaume, as opposed to what he was like, incredibly terrified looking with this very strong-looking man. He immediately almost you see him kind of take a slight bow whenever Pipistrella actually kind of comes near him at all, and he seems quite welcome and relieved to see her.
Pipistrella reaches out her arm and touches your shoulder. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Just always been taught to be respectful of those that practice the religions and whatnot. That's all.
We're not that type.
Oh, good to know.
There are others standing in the shadows of the chateau. In fact, it appears that you may have caught them in the mid of some conversation. For in the threshold of where the broad doors are open, you can see warm light crackling and warmth almost inviting, and literally beneath the threshold is a man and a woman. Like, what does he see from the perspective of Tama?
So he sees a man who seems like perhaps he hasn't slept well past few nights. There's stuff on his mind. There's a heavy
as the crown.
a heavy burden on his shoulder, and but he seems to have welcoming eyes at this moment, at least. Emotions towards you. Come out of the rain. We'll talk inside.
And to his left hand, or to his right hand side, is also a woman.
Yeah, you would see Suspiriancy just... you would notice that her clothes are really nice, but she looks like she went to a ball, but things went terribly wrong at the ball. And she'll look up at you, look at your clothes, and then look down. And go back to whatever she was doing.
Fair enough.
Judging everything. That's interesting. So she has almost, is perhaps she wearing like a ball gown that's been tattered and torn so she can move around in it?
Yeah.
What's that horror film where the bride like has to tear her clothing? What's really
Oh my
good?
god,
We're in
it's
the
not a
house
horror.
and they have to fight
Yeah,
the family.
yeah.
I don't know, but I really liked
It's
it.
really good. Yeah, it's a movie. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about that. Like she's kind of torn her clothes to allow her to get ample movement.
Mm-hmm.
Comment, guys. Well, somebody will know it right off the bat.
If you're watching or listening, you know what this movie is. Please comment or like down.
Hey, dummies.
I don't know what to
Oh,
say. I know I shouldn't be doing this. I promised I wouldn't. I promised they wouldn't. So yeah, you come inside into the warmth of this place.
Guillaume immediately pulling the hood from his face and from the top of his head and finally off, just soaking with rain. Yeah, you see what look to be almost like freckled complexion, but these almost clown-like purple birthmarks that are just kind of splotched all over his face, and from what you can see, some of his forearms. But yeah, it's almost this bizarre birthmarks that almost look like a clown, and yeah, I tend to wear a hood most of the time, as even you saw me just wearing a straight up hood with 2 eye holes, basically.
He rolled a random appearance on Dark Souls.
It's also my
Yeah.
my remnant.
That's right. But yeah, he just had those kind of purple birthmarks across himself.
Once you're inside, Toma offers his hand and gives you a hearty handshake. But you get the feeling that he's trying to take. He shakes it rather vigorously, and you get the feeling that he's trying to take your measure in some way by doing so.
Right back, he will gladly accept that hand, very, very relieved.
Okay.
And you will see the exact same thing, almost just automatically from him. Warm smile, but he's definitely studying you, studying the house, studying everything.
There are other voices and shapes moving around in this manor home, but you don't manage to catch their faces or really make out who they are. It's mostly kind of a low din of sound, like there are other people inside the chateau outside of the 4 of them.
So you all have found others then?
Welcome to Bastion. Bastion is not a place. It's us. We've banded together, and we survive.
Well, I don't know if there's some sort of entry exam or questionnaire or a test of will, but would not mind being a part of this particular effort.
All I know is that if we take him in, he's below me, because I was here before him.
Everyone has a place here.
Is that how it works? Is it seniority?
Well,
It should
apparently
be.
not, because someone put me in charge.
Oh yes.
We should have a hierarchy.
Yes, I am in charge,
Yes.
and you're below.
It's-
Directly below?
Assistant to the leader, something like that.
Whatever?
Everyone has a place. Everyone has a job. Everyone does their fair share.
And you are very wise. Thank you.
You notice behind Tama, there's this burning hearth, and affixed right in front of the hearth is this low table. and you could see what appears to be this kind of tarnished set of brass scales, and there are tokens laying in front of it. They almost ritualistically, all of them, even Suspiriancy picks up one of the tokens and pockets it. One remains on the table.
I imagine I should take one of these.
This here is our scales. It's what sets us apart, I believe. We, for big decisions that I'm unable to make, we come together and we decide as a group. And these scales help determine which is the best course.
Yeah, with that, yeah, Guillaume, quite carefully, kind of looking and studying the coin. Is there anything particular about this?
Well, it is marked with. It appears to be perhaps that all of them are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
The one that remains is like it's a beaten piece of brass, and the face and the obverse have been well worn away. You would suspect perhaps this may have been maybe a war medal. You would guess. The little kind of bottom pin that would hold like the lanyard, the ribbon, is gone.
Quite respectfully, he will place it into what at one point was a very nice coat that is completely beat to hell at this point. It is just kind of this like almost muddy brown, and at one point was clearly a different color.
Keep it safe, friend. It'll buy you a lot more than a common copper. At least around here.
Are we trusting this man already?
For now, we need all the help we can get.
Speaking of help,
We're going right back out there, you know.
speaking of help,
you're
Pipistrella like appears with whatever we would be drinking in hand and like starts setting it down at the table. And she says, "Here you go." As like, what would we have to drink here?
Probably
Like water?
mead or something like that.
Okay,
Something
yeah,
will be found in the basements.
Yeah,
That's already been unearthed now.
yeah. So she sets it down in front of everyone.
Much obliged.
You see a man, an ailing man, walking. He's been bandaged almost head to toe like a leper, and he is a very feeble-looking fellow. He's walking with a young, pale-skinned woman with very, very dark, long hair and these midnight blue robes. Her chin has been tattooed. She takes the ailing man to a back room and kind of emerges back into the fireside.
Would that be that type of like tattoo or anything like that? Would that be like a history or a ritual I would be familiar with, or a people I'd be familiar with?
Go ahead and make an education test. Which test will be challenging.
Challenging. So -10. Education, I got one, so I have one skill rank in that. So just be 48. 42.
Yeah. You kind of pull deep from your memory, and something kind of, it's almost like a sense of deja vu when memories return to you, and it has that kind of like you feel discombobulated.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that all of you, everyone else, has felt before, but in this case for you, Guillaume, it's very clear that this woman was probably from the south.
Thank you.
The southern regions of the world, at least.
Thank you. I will bow slightly as she kind of passes by then.
There is no need, she said very softly.
Yeah, we're not at the steward.
Oh, very well. I've always been kind of raised to be respectful of those that practice such piety and, really lean into it.
Right, the steward. Yes.
I don't know which one that is.
Oh well.
Oh, that's the death one.
No.
No, that's the custodian.
Custodian.
That's the one.
Yes, that's the one I follow. We don't need such ritual.
Very well.
It's very simple practice, actually. Everybody does it at one point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'd like to not, for that to not be tonight, but yeah.
Well,
Good point.
if you don't, it's not your time.
I like this. Is a very simple. Yeah, I like this. This is a belief I can get behind. I like this.
I didn't catch her name, the woman inquires.
Oh, I do apologize. Guillaume Bivouac. Investigated by trade.
She kind of steps to the right-hand side of this man, Tomas.
Are you gonna step to the left-hand side?
She kind of nudges Tomas forward slightly.
It's kind of a power move here.
So we've made plans for the day. We aim to investigate the bells. You'll join us?
Absolutely.
Seems less of a question than a statement.
Yeah, no, it is both, and the answer is yes to both. Quite frankly, it's been bugging me as well. Y'all were closer, otherwise I would have been over there.
We left the lights on last night.
Gratefully.
And the idea and the hope that hope is not dead in this city, and you here stand before us, a testament to that.
Not dead.
Not dead.
Stop following the religion. Got it.
And hope that there are others like you out there.
The other aspect of the religion is, if it's your time, you accept it.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to get to that lesson later. I don't like that.
Do you know you're doing?
Yes.
That's a very personal question.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's what I was about to ask that.
It's extremely personal. Yeah.
You don't have to answer.
Yeah. So what I would say is yes. Yes, I do know my duty.
Pipistrella doesn't have the same boundaries all of us seem to have.
Well, that's okay. I tend to ask fairly invasive questions myself.
6 of one, half a dozen the other. That's mine.
Well, that does seem about the same, though, doesn't it?
So since you're investigator, you can do most of the work on this, right?
Be happy to.
Great.
And you see him, like, from what was this very, like, almost, like, shoulder-forward moment, as soon as you ask him to start investigating, just kind of comes up and he's leaning forward. Absolutely. Be happy to.
Great. Toma, with all of your wisdom, can you guide us, please?
That was amazing.
The woman at your side, Beatrix, turns to you and she's holding a book, not under the arm that's beneath the robe where you can't see her hand, but underneath the arm. I have made a discovery, Master Toma. I think we should discuss this.
Go on.
She rests one of the large volumes onto the table beside the scales and lays it out. This tome was a letter of passages by the former tenants of this place. Hold on one second. Yes, the Lord Darius Moreau. I've looked more into this since you inquired about it. It seems to be a telling of his time here, his service to the Ivory Lady, and well, it ends abruptly. No less, there is a passage I found rather interesting inside that I think may be of collective interest to all of us.
As soon as Guillaume heard the phrase "Ivory Lady," you see him perk right up.
Beneath the city, notes.
I wasn't. I was looking at you. You sat me here.
Using this.
My glasses are just down. Now I'm gonna look.
You can't look. I'm gonna hide it. That's what the screen is for. So Beatrix, she kind of clears her throat and kind of folds her dark hair beneath her ear, and she says, and places a monocle in her eye because it's cool. She says, Lord Darius Moreau. He and others in the city were tasked with moving things throughout the city in a place they simply call the Undercroft. These tunnels seem to run crisscross throughout the city, at least from what I can tell from the writing. More importantly, he worked with a priest, a minister. He simply refers to him as the Minister of Light.
Smuggling nobles, huh? You've got a nose for this kind of thing.
My lord, I don't think it was the smuggling of nobles. I think it was the smuggling of, illegal goods.
That's what I meant. Yes. As a bailiff, I've seen this sort of thing all the time.
You're always right about those things.
So this minister, I suspect, if my intuition is correct in the library, that this minister would be the one who was the primarch of the temple across the city. There's only one temple, in fact, I've seen in at least what little I've read so far.
Beatrix, was it? Guillaume,
Yes.
pleasure. What was this Moreau's connection with the Ivory Lady?
Lord Moreau was the Moreau family was a minor family in service to the Ivory Lady. My understanding is that he was her squire at some point.
Well, vassal house.
Did you say Hasselhoff's?
Vassal
Vassal
house.
house.
Oh, Vassal House. Gotcha. It's like, what? What does that have to do with Hasselhoff's? Vassal House.
Even though the chateau itself, as she kind of looks around this place, although Chateau Moreau is not probably the largest manse in the city, it's pretty clear to me that the Lord Moreau and the Ivory Lady had a connection, along with this Minister of Light.
So these tunnels go from here to the temple?
I think. I haven't been able to really suss this out yet. I haven't had enough time, truly. There are numerous volumes in Lord Moreau's collection. I simply looked at the ones that were more recent, before the Red Death.
Clovis, from here to the tower, seems like a perilous journey. Lots of hidden alleyways where the damned can slip out and catch us unawares. If we were to find a secret passageway to the church, to the tower, perhaps it would be safer. You think?
No question.
Maybe Franklin could tell us something about their movements.
Of the husks?
Yes.
Hey y'all! You hear kind of from one of the back halls. This middle-aged man with a kind of a, looks like he has a pretty fiery temper, and his looks a little temperamental. His sleeves are rolled up, his pant legs are rolled up to around his boots. He looks muddy, and his hands are covered in calluses, and he's kind of got a wooden toolbox beneath his arm, and he kind of sets it down as it rattles in the middle of everybody as he just kind of broadly interrupts. I almost got one of them wagons fixed.
Good to hear. Thank you.
He pauses. No, I mean, I got one of them carriages fixed. I found out in the carriage house.
Oh.
You can't take them wagons through the city.
Mm-hmm.
But that carriage you could take on through.
Oh. We had horses, right?
One horse.
One horse.
We have horse.
We had horse. Okay. What? We
We're in a one-horse town.
is that horse like
It's a
enough?
storm horse. Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about horses we had before.
Oh, no.
Oh, ox.
Okay.
We had ox.
Oxen, yeah.
That gives us a couple of options at least. We could take the wagon through the city.
Well, hold your horse there. You ain't heard the other part yet.
Singular.
Okay.
So a carriage runs on a switch pin axle. That's what causes it to go dilly-dally this way and that. Now a wagon got a straight axle, so the wheels gets hammered to it, don't fall off. It can't be switching back and forth like you need for a carriage. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You find yourselves out in the city, you find a switch pin on the bottom of an old carriage, you bring it back, and I can get this son bitch ready to go.
I'll definitely keep an eye out. Can you describe what it looks like? I'm not familiar with
Yeah,
it.
you get underneath a carriage, and you see it on the front where the yoke goes to connect to the horse.
Ah, yes, the yoke.
Right where he gets some big old hooks up front, you look underneath, and there's a switch pin. Looks like a little cog with a long, like a baleen pin, you know, that splits right in the middle. You get that switch pin out, you gotta hammer it out. It ain't gonna come out with just a little bit of, you gotta use some gumption, and a little bit of arm swinging. But you take him out like this, and you hammer hard enough, the switch pin will come off. Bring that switch pin back, and we can get that wagon up and running for y'all.
Okay. I trust someone knows what he's talking about. I mean,
Anybody have tradecraft?
Absolutely not.
No.
So,
I have ride, but that doesn't
can you
apply.
You mind going out to the carriage house with me and showing me what you're talking about?
Stahl says, I can show you all right, but I just plumb told you what it is.
Well, Stola, you worked on wagons and things. And
Yep.
I killed men.
Yep. That's a fair point. All right, then.
And I bury them.
That's probably true, I reckon.
But I will bring back whatever you tell me.
He'll give you the explanation. At some point, kind of in the background, he'll explain. So, what you will want to do, this is something that you will need to acquire at some point if you choose to do so at your option. I don't have any additional cards here.
Mini mission.
Yeah, a mission card. I don't have any additional cards, but if somebody wants to write
We
this
have his
down,
card.
yeah, if you got
Who's
Stahl's
got
card,
Stahl's card?
I do.
yeah, write down needs a switch pin for the carriage.
I just have the Oxmaster.
Yeah, Stahl's the kettlesmith.
Side quest.
Side quest, that's right. Well, let you back to your gumming. I just thought I'd mention. Now that y'all getting all hot and bothered wanting to go back out in that damn city.
Well, we found 2 more living, so it's
That-
working. It's
That's
working.
good,
More hands.
Got to bring back something
Right.
to eat.
he says.
Stahl. Guillaume.
Guillaume.
Yeah, that's a fancy name.
Well,
My name's Stahl. He kind of walks up and shakes your hand, and he gives you a pretty firm grip. His hands are like a baseball mitt. He just kind of raptures in it, like he shakes it. He got Popeye arms. Like he's a kettlesmith, so he's got one big old arm and one tiny arm, and his hands are huge.
just see, yeah, Guillaume just slightly bending underneath the weight, just a little bit. He's fairly brawny, so he's okay.
Well, I attend to most of the kettling around here, so need any metal work or anything like that done, you come to me.
I will be sure to do that. Thank you.
And, you need somebody to pull at the wool and look along with the vault tonight. You talk to Beatrix there.
Yes, we have met, as a matter of fact, me and Beatrix.
Oh, wait. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, then.
All right. Well,
Master Saul, thank you.
thank you very much. Well, we're best get a move on. And if this
We want
is
to try and. What do you think this space? I mean, if it makes sense to me, they would want this tunnel in the main house where fine constabulary like yourself could find it.
you remember us, I'm sure you recall, at least through muscle memory, of us sussing out a few manor homes and finding a smuggling operation such as this. I'm sure we can rustle something up down there.
Carriage house.
Master Thomas, I'm not really sure how to navigate these tunnels. Frankly, I could use some help. There are a number of volumes in Lord Moreau's personal journals.
Like I said before, I'm not much for reading other than ledgers, but if you find any clue as to where in the manor the entrance is, that would be helpful.
As opposed to Thomas, wise and fearless leader, I do in fact like grind a little bit of the pages. So if you need some help, I'd be happy to help you.
She smiles.
I have education.
We'll start with the old-fashioned way, just looking around. But we'll let you go ahead and take a look around in the stacks. and we'll search the premises, see if we can find an entrance.
What about you, ladyship? Can you read your letters?
I can read if I have to. Tomas, do you need me to read?
Yes, please.
Okay, then I will read, and Grovis or whatever can go around the building.
Why read yourself when you can be read to? That's Adam's character's Lyndon C. Genevieve. That's the quote that sticks in my mind when he played that character. Why learn to read if you can be read to?
Why write when you can dictate?
That's right.
That's how he wrote his book.
That's how he wrote his books. So to enter.
What was the self-dictated? Was it self-published, self-dictated?
Oh yeah, self-dictated. The adventurous exploits of Lyndon Genevieve the Younger, man of the people, champion passenger of Tradegate.
Champion passenger.
He was in a wagon race, and he was a passenger of the wagon, so he became the champion passenger when he won.
It ain't easy to sit like that, fellas.
Well, if you ever did this race, you would understand it.
Oh yeah, the passenger was a very dangerous position to be in.
I was like rally.
Yeah, it's like a rally sport, and they'd have to fight other wagoneers. Yeah, many.
Badass.
It's a long time back.
That was a
Fuck.
long time.
So in fact, we talked about switch pins then too. Scissor suspension.
Yeah.
We got really deep into wagons that year.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Ride the Wheel.
We were all the vehicle combat stuff.
We did. We had vehicle combat. That's right. So going to the library as Guillaume and Suspiriansi do, it's not a matter of if you find the information you're looking for. It's a matter of how long it takes,
Gotcha.
And that will dictate, in some ways, depending on how everybody feels about it, how quickly you decide to leave. Because at least a few people are still suffering from lasting injuries. Isn't Pipistrella?
Nope. She's good now.
That's here. Okay.
I think we took care of her last session, but oh well, she's still suffering from injuries. Yes.
Yes. She's in recuperation though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people are still recuperating from their injuries.
Okay. Yes.
She's got 6 days to go.
Yeah.
I'm
So
lightly wounded still.
Is it a new day from? Okay, stay there.
So here's what we're going to do. As you kind of come deeper into the chateau, Beatrix will take you into this long, narrow hallway. It's maybe as wide as this pillar to that wall. And on either side, there are these long mahogany bookshelves with books of varying sizes and shapes. Some are paper, some are between lead and covers, some have been bound with metal boot pins and leather and embossed. Others are just kind of loose papers, but Beatrix points toward where she believes Lord Moreau's personal journals were, and there are 8.
Just grab the second to last one.
Sure. Do you also want to begin your reading as well?
Why don't you grab 2 and I'll grab 1? Dramo.
Absolutely would love to. Good idea, lady.
So what we're going to do is we'll kind of fade this into the background. We're going to determine exactly how many days it's going to take. If it were simply not a skill test, if nobody was actively trying to use skills to get to defeat this or to get through it, it would take a total of 13 days. So I'd like for you both to make challenging, scrutinized tests, and I'll tell you what to do after that.
Okay.
58. I need 52.
You know, if you roll with fortune points.
I feel like we're gonna need those later.
So I need under 47. Right?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend a fortune point. It's gonna take 2 weeks otherwise, man.
I'm gonna lazily read anyway, so I'm not gonna use a fortune.
All right, I'm done using
doing
fortune
right,
points
yeah.
to re-roll dice for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
72 ain't it?
So it is in fact going to take 13 days. So what we would have done is we would we would look at what you roll. Let's say, what was your chance to succeed, Dave?
52.
So let's say that you rolled 50. Say you rolled 49. We would take the first number 4. We'd add it to your perception bonus, and then we'd subtract that from this number. So if you would the more, meaning
The higher you roll.
the higher you roll, the better. We would subtract the number of days it takes for you to determine how it would determine the
I have a
secret.
6
But
on my
it's gonna take that many days
perception.
regardless now.
We could cut that to
because
3
you all
days.
failed your
Oh,
tests.
okay.
Yeah. And a lot can happen in 13 days here in the chateau.
Could have cut that to 3 days.
Can we search the old-fashioned way?
Yeah.
And,
I have a
and
6
also,
perception.
if we know that it's going to take, if we see it's
I have
taking
a
additional
4.
time,
Yeah.
can we all start lending a hand?
Well, I can't really.
So if you don't have
read
education,
that
can you
type.
not read?
Well,
I think
not
you could
not
read.
like
You
something
can-
like that.
You can read, but you can't help.
help.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just not going to help at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You have your two most well-lettered people that you know of here among the player characters who can make a contribution.
It's like he can sound
one
out
of
the
them doesn't
words,
really
but not
try.
like comprehend.
In fact, I believe over 13 days, you were going to attempt to build an ossuary
Yes.
inside of the garden, the chateau's walls, or instead of bastion's walls, we should call it now. And along with that, there's going to be some repairs to the walls. And you were still trying to, in finding the passage where where the entrance to Undercroft would be, actually is dependent on them, and they fail their tests. So you won't know for another 13 days.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Despite your best efforts, it's well hidden. It's very well hidden. You found a few areas that have been bricked over, but the bricks were removable is mostly just like storage for foodstuffs. That's where you find some additional foodstuffs like spoiled milk, some cold meats that have rotted, obviously, but also some grains that can be held and kept. Hard bread, cheese, things like that.
So, those of us who are not working on that, can we decide what to do with
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, since I have the Gravedigger Spade, I would like to help Pipistrella as much as I can with some of the digging. And then, if I have time other than that, I'd probably go out with Clovis and try to forage for food and
Bricks, too.
stuff like that. See if we could, and possibly see if we can find that linchpin thingy.
Same.
Yeah, so one thing that you noticed when you had approached this place is that the streets were literally crawling with the damned.
So not the best idea to go out.
Not here, but that may change if you decide to go across the city and explore the grounds around the chapel, guaranteeing you could find it through the Undercroft.
Okay.
But there's still plenty to do, like to continue to repair the walls. Obviously, Stahl and other faceless people that you haven't quite met yet, Guillaume. But between your studies, you see meander in and out of the chateau. We'll attend to. So we're basically going to assume 13 days will pass. So if you are recuperation from any injuries, so you can subtract 13 days. How many days do you have left?
I had 6. So
6.
yeah,
Okay.
so.
And then, as for you, you are lightly wounded. You'll be healed, but somebody needs to subtract a bandage.
Yay. I don't have any.
I have 1.
Yeah.
Is there any way to prepare any while during this time? Like, how long would the ossuary take?
Well, ossuary's going to take most of the time to construct, but if you have jars of honey, you can do it.
Don't have any.
I don't think anyone does. In fact, when you're visiting this woman, she has this, and this is in the case of Suspiriansi. You visit with a woman who is an apothecary, and she actually stays in her wagon. She doesn't go inside the chateau, but the inside of her wagon is almost what you kind of imagine like a super country woo-woo sort of like woman would live in. The whole place is like, it smells of frankincense. There were dried herbs hanging from the rafters of the wagon. She wears this long kind of multicolored gown that has this dark skin, and she speaks with a very high English voice, English kind of accent, and she looks very strange. Like, you can't put your finger on like why she looks so unusual, but something is different about the way her eyes are set into her head. When she's treating your wounds, her kind of 3 fingers on each hand like carefully tend to the stitching and the mending of your injuries. And she speaks to you at length and says, "We will need at some point more honey for bandages. We are nearing the end of our stock."
Where would I get honey?
I could not tell you. Somewhere in the city, I suspect.
Aren't you an apothecary? Why don't you have any honey?
We have spent our sources to come here. We've been on the run for 3 winters, you see.
Well, is this enough for now?
Enough for you right now, dear. And she kind of pats your shoulder and gently, and she says, "But should trouble befall you once more, I am afraid that our stores of honeyed bandages are unfortunately thin. That which we have remaining is with Master Tomai, I believe. If you find honey, then I can prepare bandages. Otherwise," she looks toward the dirty bucket with water, "I'll be using lye to clean strips of cloth
And you
that
said
we've plucked from the
Toma?
dead."
Toma has some honey? Is that what you said?
He works with the rest to maintain the stores for Bastion.
I got one.
Who has Alma's card?
I think that's actually
Espillicent?
Dispillicent.
Could you look at her thing real quick, please?
I'm almost 100% sure because
I thought.
Yes, it
Alma.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give you an NPC card, and that's gonna be for Alma the apothecary. So you'll probably want to write on the notes like she needs honey for bandages.
Crunchy woo woo.
Is that what it says on there?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably why I said that, because Paige said that.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how she described her.
Yes, but should we have no honey, there will be no fresh
Don't know what that
bandages, and
means.
we will be reduced to using strips of cloth that we have taken from the dead in the city.
Well, we can't have that.
Master Moreau and the people who lived in the chateau, well, they took everything when they left.
I'm sure that Toma and I can find someone to fetch some honey for us.
Excellent. She smiles.
That's gonna get old.
Do you know who I am? I don't, but I feel like I'm important.
She'll probably have a humbling moment. Who knows?
Or she'll need a baby. Who knows?
Yeah.
Throughout those 13 days of reading through Moreau's personal journals, were there any additional connections with the Ivory Later or Minister of Light?
Yeah, so it's clear that, and he takes care never to mention the minister by name, but the minister and the Ivory, they're only referred to by these titles. They don't exactly say what their names are, but they clearly know who he is, and their relationship seems one of not allied interest, but of commercial benefit.
Gotcha.
All
3 of them.
Yes, but it's pretty evident that in these transcriptions that they are mostly, there's no great revelations to be found, but it's very evident that whatever was happening was but nobody else knew about it, save for the 3 of them.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
So time will pass. The ossuary will get built. You will repair the walls well enough and by the time that the mortar is setting between the stone, 13 long days have passed, and you have discovered in the libraries that the entrance to the Undercroft is actually beneath the tree near the graves of the Moreau family. There's a crypt that looks, and when you go outside, you're standing in the grass, and all this point all the bones have been cleared out. They've been kind of built and stacked. Literally, the bones have been pressed between the brick and rock, like where the brick and rock's broken on the inside of the wall. So now you're living inside it. Like the interior of the walls of the manor house, the chateau, are now a living ossuary of the dead. And right beneath this tree that is bare of any leaves, this old rotten witchwood tree that the needles have long fallen off, there is what looks like this iron cage that's about the width of a man and the height of a man as well, and it's actually affixed into the earth, and there's a stone block underneath of it.
Can I figure out what that's all about? Or do it? Actually, I'm just going to ask. Pip Estrella. Excuse me, Pip. What would be the nature and use of that particular iron cage set into the ground and whatnot?
Isn't it pretty?
Oh, it's very pretty. I think the entire thing is quite gothically stunning. I'm just curious if there was an actual practice to go with it.
None that I can remember.
Well, back when in my bailiffing days, me and Clovis saw plenty of crypts and graveyards of nobles, and certainly some of them were quite eccentric. This thing here in particular, as he motions towards the cage, you'll see here there's this little hook here, and on this hook they usually attached a little bell, and the bell connected to a coffin down into the ground with a chain. So, if any noble were to perhaps be accidentally buried alive, they could signal their relatives to say that they were as such and they could be unearthed.
Yeah. And then we would tell them it's all right. And they would say, because I'm saved by the bell.
Yeah, I like you. You're going to be fun.
But in this case, we know that it is the entrance, so I'm guessing perhaps the bell meant something else. It signaled that someone was on the other end here to make a smuggling delivery.
Yeah.
The as you kind of approach the cage over the grave, Pipistrella, you know these are called mort safes, or a mort cage. And although Thomas is right, the bell is placed in there in case somebody is buried accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
It was also used to keep the people inside the crypt from making their way out in the case of where they had suffered a perilous end or an unholy end.
Yeah.
It also keeps out resurrectionists from trying to steal bodies and dissect them.
Yeah. So
It's good practicality. Yeah.
Pipistrella will explain.
Body snatchers. That is.
There are plenty of grave robbers, and normally it would be us who would have the keys for them. Back when I served at the Malorn graveyard, but that was a long time ago.
There is a keyhole kind of affixed to the front of the mort safe.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't I never unearthed a noble to pluck a costly signet ring or two.
How have your dreams been ever since? Have you had nightmares?
No, never.
Maybe you just don't remember them.
Isn't that a blessing?
Yes. But I would advise, please don't do that in front of me.
Well, I just don't really have much reason to be doing bailiffing like I used to, but if society rises again, I can take up the act.
I cannot abide it.
Nor are the rings worth anything anymore.
That's very true. But it is worth something to her.
Who?
The custodian.
Oh. Got it.
I mean, you plant a seed in a garden, when you come along, you snatch the seed from the farmer.
These days, coin doesn't spin like it used to.
Well, for us, yes, but the custodian cares about a much longer span of time than we do.
Okay.
Why does she care about stones? And
What I'm saying
metal
is,
being
I'm not
thrown on the ground?
I'm not looking to be stealing riches off dead noble's fingers.
Suspiriancy, that you're kind of, when you look toward this kind of, they're having this fairly grim conversation. When you look toward the headstone, it looks like the headstone of a noble. And you can read upon the headstone that it is the resting place of Lady Lorelei Moreau,
Okay, I'll go over.
who is the wife of Lord Darius, as you would learn in the books.
Okay. I'll go over to the grave and kind of move any dirt or grime off of the gravestone, and then turn to everyone and tell them to pay your respects, because this is a noble woman right here. No one will be taking anything from a noble woman.
All respect to you, dearly departed lady. We're making good use of your old manor. Love it.
Yep.
You can
Thank
see
you.
that there's an inscription actually on it too.
I'll take a piece of. I'll go back into the hearth and get some charcoal and take a rubbing so I can read it a little bit better.
Yeah. It reads, I saw the praise of she who endows her husband with respect and wealth withheld. I saw the hands of she who bestows value and good on her beloved chained. I saw the works of she who rises at dawn to lead her household in love diminished.
Away.
I think Simba was frankly very bummed that she died.
Should we go down? Start mapping this tunnel?
I would love to go take a look at that crypt, yes.
The Mort safe will not lift unless you either have the key or a way to get in.
I will attempt to use the gravedigger spade as a lever to kind of pry it open.
You realize that the Mort safe is actually set into, the iron is set into what appears to be a slab of stone, and right as you're ready to lift the grave digger's spade, that's when you realize that this grave has been hallowed.
Oh. There's nothing in it.
You mean her body's not in it?
Oh no.
So, how do we open it?
With the key.
Where do we find the key?
Let's go look. So,
You've seen no keys
Yeah.
to speak of at all. In fact, you haven't even found the front door keys of this place. The doors were wide open when you arrived.
well,
Would Suspiriancy have any maybe lost knowledge of where a noble person would keep a key like that?
It'd be kept in probably in the master quarters of Lord Darius Moreau, where Lady Lorelei probably once had been lain. But you know that room is locked off, and that's where a man who they simply call Simon the Small is staying. He's the leper.
And would only I know that, or?
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. You would know that. I'm sorry. You would know to find the keys in there if there were any. But the leper is in there.
All right, I'm gonna try this. This is my first session, so I'm gonna try something cool. You see Guillaume pull an old stained like meerschaum pipe out from one of his pockets and immediately like stuff tobacco in it while he's just kind of walking around and studying the cage just absent-mindedly. It doesn't even seem to be like knowing that he's doing it, and immediately like will spark it as it starts to smoke. Can I use my professional trait, True Detective?
Sure, what's it allow you to do?
Sure. When intoxicated or underneath the effects of any poison, make a scrutinize test. If successful, you can ask for the GM to give you an important clue from your investigations you may not have already thought of or overlooked.
Okay.
This benefit cannot be gained more than once per session.
Sure. So gain 1 corruption
Good use.
for for your
Tracker.
tobacco, your tobacco.
Yep.
Not the devil's weed, not the devil's cabbage.
The jazz lettuce.
Yes, lettuce, but the tobacco, the wacky tobacco.
Non-whack.
You go ahead and roll a scrutinize test. This test will be standard.
Standard copy.
Yeah. Whittling down those fortune points.
62. 37.
There we go.
You did it. You
I was gonna
finally
say,
rolled.
better use a fortune point on that one.
I did not. I'm done using fortune.
Well, you know that what the thing that you've learned is like that Lord Darius Moreau was clearly using his wife's grave as the entrance into the Undercroft.
Yeah.
But surely, even without a key, there's a way to pry this up without destroying the grave, because you don't want this thing to look disturbed, because if somebody had come along to try to discover what he'd been doing, they would see the grave amiss. Looking at Tama, you would be able to identify the right area to dig, I guess, to dislodge the morgue cage without actually destroying the crypt.
Absolutely.
Destroying the only way for you to close it in your wake.
So kind of finding this like that right leverage point where it's really
That's right.
almost easy.
That's
Where it's
right.
Like,
Gotcha.
cool. Toma would just go ahead and wedge it right around there.
Okay.
The gravedigger's spade literally sinks into the earth and into the stone like a hot knife into butter. There's something very unusual about it as he jams it with just like a little bit of weight. It almost sinks to the handle as he chunk like into the metal, and as he lifts it up, the whole morgue cage just goes kind of makes this metal sound as it rattles and twists over, falling over the grave, kind of almost like opening like a crypt. The morgue safe comes up.
You noticed in the past few weeks when he was helping out Pipistrella with the ossuary, he was moving quite quickly with the spade, almost unnaturally so. Never seemed to tire out when using it.
Interesting.
It was just so. He never. Toma never said he was a gravedigger or anything, but
Mentioned he
he
was
just
available.
seemed really good at digging graves.
Curious lot.
You suspect
There's something.
that,
There's something about the shovel itself.
Yeah.
you suspect that if you were to go into the Undercroft, you will need to make some preparations
Sure.
before departing. What sort of preparations will you make?
I think we should definitely bring some light sources. Does anyone have any medical supplies?
I have tincture and
possibly?
laudanum.
I have tincture and smelling salts.
I also have smelling salts.
I have a bandage.
I have folkbane. I can't remember what that is.
Oh, that's bad for us. Because we are folk.
Oh.
Yeah.
Folkbane.
Yeah.
Etymology.
Got some.
What?
I've got a few laudanum, some mandrake, and opium.
Etymology.
It's what women poison their husbands with.
I've got a lot of poison.
That's what it's used for.
Guess nobody should marry me.
Torches, too. Lanterns.
Bandages.
I have one. I think there's only two among the whole group.
I have one. On that note, Pipistrella will check in with Alma to see about getting more reagents, if possible, through the Mangouche rules. Does
Absolutely.
Does she have any?
Yeah, just spend your brass to acquire it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
This brass will go to good use, she says.
It always does.
So what are the things that you're going to gather? Like, let's be distinct about this, because right now, here's what you have. You have foodstuffs from the manor home, for the chateau. You have fire and light for the chateau, and that's it. So what you have on your character sheets, unless you choose to edit the situation, or you want to spend some time gathering things beyond the walls, which could be its own thing. But the oil and the lanterns and the torches you have are the supplies that you simply have. And now you can get endless torches. Just to be clear, you get endless torches if you want, because they're breaking down the wagons at this point and wrapping them in the swaddling of the dead. Because it's not like the ossuary needed the cloth; they just stuck the skulls and bones and femurs and rib cages into the mortar of the inside of the walls. Grim. So you can have endless torches anytime you want.
Okay,
So if you want to take torches, you can do that. Remember, a torch will burn for 1 hour. And 9 torches is 1 encumbrance. So if there are torches you wish to take, you may do so. There are no medical supplies beyond that.
Right.
Yeah.
Any of those.
Okay, but you just said that torches are almost endless,
I
right?
got a lantern and oil.
Yes,
pot on
take
top
as
of
many as
that,
you want.
so-
Lantern and oil.
But not in our
They
path.
last. Lantern lasts.
I'm sorry,
for
what?
Torches now are endless, but not
4 or
throughout the
6
entire.
hours.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, cool. I'm contributing. That's all.
I can take some torches.
Okay.
So,
You're
I
taking
already,
torches
I already
as
have
well.
3.
Okay.
So I'll
Yeah, write down as many as you like to take.
bump myself all the way up
And
to-
if you don't have a, you just be mindful of what you may have as well, and to carry everything with. We're actually going to pause for a second. Okay, so we do need to make some additional preparations. So like I said, torches you can pretty much get unlimited amounts here from all the deconstructed wagons. That will be the case in the future.
Okay.
But oil, like these things, you'll need to eventually kind of source, I guess is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
We talked a little bit about this like last game session about the idea of gamifying building up a settlement. So, you're kind of basically your unlimited resource now is torches. You don't have to worry about food, so food and torches done. Keep in mind though, whenever you provision yourself, 1 day of food is 1 encumbrance.
With that in mind, I want to use a coin to edit the situation.
Okay.
I want to find a small hand cart that's big enough to or small enough to push through the catacombs. Because I'm guessing since this was a smuggling operation, they probably had something like that.
Yeah, that stands to reason. And yeah, I'll take that coin.
Okay.
So you can use coins to. We talked about this before, Dave.
Yeah.
Temporarily take control of the narrative and alter the story. So yeah, so that coin's been used. I now have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah, well,
5.
So
There's 1 left.
my thought is if there's something on the other end that we want to take back, or if we have a
Oil,
bunch of food and stuff that we need to carry, we can put it
Yeah.
in there on the way there.
It's true. Somebody still has to push it though.
Right.
So
I'm decently bronzed.
beyond food and torches, is there anything else that you will do before departing?
Do we have an ability to map this thing?
We'll talk about that when we get to rolls for this engineering exploration. Yes, you will.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and/or chalk to mark walls, say manor house this way.
Yeah, you'll be able to accurately.
Okay.
We'll see what the rolls turn out to be, but the answer is tentatively yes.
Okay.
Just in case, I don't know if we're gonna need a rope, because I don't have it.
You can probably get 10 yards of rope here.
What do you need rope for?
Who?
Someone always with the fucking rope.
Yeah.
You and your fucking rope.
Go you and your fucking rope. Yeah,
Keep in
absolutely.
mind,
That
so
doesn't have any-
quick point of clarification, every 3 yards of
That
rope
has
is 1 encumbrance.
Every 3 yards.
Yeah.
Is 1 encumbrance.
Uh-huh.
Whew.
Yeah, rope.
Hallelujah.
And to be
Not-
clear, provisions is a day's worth of bread, cheese, fruit, meat, and a candle. So depending on how many days of provisions you want to take, it does weigh 1 encumbrance.
How much can this hand wagon cart carry?
Gonna be my next question.
You could probably comfortably carry, call it 10 encumbrance.
Okay.
All right.
We
Rope
should
would be
fill
3
that up
encumbrance
with
alone.
food.
So.
We're throwing the
Along
rope
the
on
way.
the cart.
Yeah, is that cool? Everybody cool with the rope?
The
going?
danger cart.
All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut that into the side.
Does the cart have a name?
Danger cart.
10 yards.
It's now
rope.
Danger Cart.
You just see Guillaume just painting on the side of it.
Danger Cart.
Danger car.
We did at one point have a massive trebuchet that was named the Whoreson.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Somebody missed the eye in Horizon. Is that?
Whoreson. So, if no other preparations you wish to make, it may actually nothing else. Gone.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
That means it's time to officially depart using the new dungeoneering mechanics. All right. So, to prepare for your journey underneath in the Undercroft. We are going to basically chart out a route between here and the chapel.
Is it the upside croft?
What's that? Yes, it is. This is the coolest. This is the music for Stranger Things. This is the preparation music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
dope.
fun.
Yeah.
I
This was
noticed it. I
purposeful.
loved it.
This was
I didn't
purposeful.
want to.
So we are going to need people to play roles whenever you explore areas. The first person we need to determine someone needs to select this role. We need a mapper. Who wants? And a mapper needs either folklore or navigation for their key skill.
I have folklore.
I have folklore, yeah. That's intelligence. So I got a 40.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can't say your percentages?
Nope.
Don't say
That
any,
makes total sense. Sorry.
say any numbers.
So sorry about
Can't
that.
say that's
I know
above
it-
board conversation.
I know a
Yeah.
thing or two about how crypts are laid out. That's how I would, explain that I have folklore.
Gotcha.
Right.
In general,
You can say
the practices. Yeah.
I'm supposed to really say the number. Because in your mid-maxing, you're not supposed to mid-max.
That's a good point. We try not to no above board talk in that sense.
Sure.
Except for when we're in combat when you need help, when you're learning.
You say I'm real smart.
So Spirion,
But I
you
can,
wanna...
but I can say I have folklore,
Yes.
just not that
The
I have
number.
a
X.
percent
No,
of folklore.
X%.
No, no
Yeah.
digits.
And if you try to cheat that rule,
I didn't.
I take away I take away fortune points.
and then just make his own misfortune points.
Punish.
He now has
Get it?
12 misfortune.
So you have 150.
Okay, so what are the other rolls?
Yeah, I have 150%.
So who wants to be the it's either folklore or navigation for a mapper?
Okay, why don't we see? Can we see all the rolls?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You'll need a hireling who needs either heal or survival. And then finally, you'll need a scout, which is awareness or stealth.
I will.
I can be the hireling.
I'll take the first roll.
Like a mapper.
Yeah, I'll be
So
the mapper.
Guillaume.
Yes, sir.
And remember,
You guys can.
you may assist one another.
Yeah.
So if two people want to take a roll, one of you can choose to assist the other.
Sus.
I'll do the mapping as well.
Okay, so you will assist.
Here,
Guillaume.
yeah,
I'll
That's
assist. Yep.
Okay.
I'll do the last roll, and then you should help with the hill.
Who's going to be our hireling? Which is
I'll be the hireling.
healer survival. Okay. Tuma?
Can I assist with heal if he chooses survival though?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, it has to be
Yeah.
a paired
Yeah.
skill.
Because I'll be using survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would be using heal.
And then we need a scout, which is awareness or stealth.
Awareness.
Uh huh.
I got that one.
Okay.
I can assist you with that.
Okay. We'll scout together, Pip.
Oh, good. And like she places her hand on your arm and then forgets. Oh, you don't like to be touched.
Okay. Well,
well, I can
with
tell you my doing it.
with our roles chosen, I think it's time to actually go down into the crypt.
This crypt is ours. We're the crypt keepers.
When you first descend down below, you discover that the route is fairly narrow. It almost feels for a moment like this was perhaps a wine cellar that had been turned into turned into a false grave, a false crypt. As you descend down, you can see in this main chamber where other arteries extend out, there are these bits of lumber, these frameworks of lumber along the walls with old casks that line the walls that come about 10 feet high or so on either end. The ground is laying flagstone. It's wet down here. In fact, it looks like as you look toward the kind of vaulted ceiling that the earth has shifted in places and the water is kind of slowly dripping down in this main chamber. Your intuition was in fact correct, Toma, as you can see that these divots have been carved into the stone, but as you get into the arteries, the other kind of the other extending hallways, that they wind this way and that. It's clear this is meant for a hand cart to be pushed. You added the situation, so we're going to add to the narrative.
Okay.
But there's no real, it doesn't really seem to give you a strong intuition which way is the correct way. But perhaps, because Guillaume and Suspiriancy are going to be leading, or guiding, being our mapper in this sense. So Guillaume, I'm going to have you make a standard folklore or navigation test.
Copy that.
And I would like you, Sarah, to hand your tens die to Dave. That's your 1 to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, not the units, but the tens.
Yeah.
Yep, hand that. So when you roll your dice, roll the 2 tens dice first. Yep.
Gotcha.
And choose your best one, and then roll your other die.
Gotcha. That's very cool.
Yep.
All right. So folklore is intelligence. So 58. We got a 50. That works.
Yep. So return the die to Sarah. That's her assist.
Thank you, Sus. 55.
Critical something.
Critical success.
Critical success.
Wow. Well, the good thing is that
Sus.
during this exploration, this dungeoneering beneath in the Undercroft, and we're explaining this all narratively above board because we're not actually doing any like draw the map and move room to room and the old school D&D way.
Yeah.
The good thing is that it appears that some of these divots in the stone are actually deeper than other ones, which means they may have been trafficked more. In fact, you find like there are splinters of wood from where the wheels have been rolled in some of these tracks. So that helps you. The great thing is when you critically succeed a mapper test, it actually makes the path easier to find, which means all the skill tests that follow thereafter are now, they're no longer standard, they're easy
Hot damn.
for crit success.
Yeah. With you see like Guillaume like trying to like navigate his way, and it, like he kind of gets really into the paper, and you just see like Sus just shoving him into different. He's like, oh yeah.
So, with that being said, with the walls of the chambers being so narrow and being so quiet and dark with only torchlight that oftentimes flickers along the top of this low vaulted ceilings, they're very narrow, like literally like a handcart wide.
Two abreast?
Yeah, 2 abreast. You discover that this can get a little claustrophobic. So all of you need to attempt either an easy survival or toughness test.
Okay.
Up to you.
Survival.
88.
Just let me know if you fail or critically fail. Or crit succeed. We'll grab the table then.
72.
Sorry, you said standard?
Easy.
Easy.
Because we killed it, Sus.
That's right.
You got it?
10.
Nice. Success.
Failure.
Oh, no. Well, maybe the darkness gets you a little bit. Maybe it's that even though you are with your friends, Pipistrella, maybe it's just a little too quiet down here. You don't really know what to expect. You are going to suffer during this trip. You are going to suffer. No, I should probably roll that. It's cocked. 3, 4, 5 physical peril.
She remains at unhindered, but she's unusually quiet.
Along the way, you must attend to the supplies, in particular the food supplies, knowing how many torches to spend, pushing the danger cart, and that falls to the hireling, Thomas. So Thomas, I need you to make an easy heal or survival test.
Okay, I'll do survival. And that is a success.
Nice. The good thing is that as you succeed, you're not going to spend more than what you would anticipate in provisions or torches.
Good.
What you're going, it's going to be nearly 12 hours below here during this time. So you'll spend 1 day's worth of provisions in 12 torches from
You
your.
sort of divide the torches. So I think we took the number of torches.
How many torches you say were?
12.
Total.
So each lose 6.
Each
I only brought 5.
I brought 8.
Okay.
I didn't bring
So just-
any.
I brought 9, so just take them all for you guys, and then I'll use the ones on the way back.
Okay. So I'm taking all 5 of mine away.
Cool. So 5 minus 12 would be 7. So I'm gonna take 7 torches away. I'll have 1 torch left.
Good.
I still have my lantern. So
Nice.
got that.
I have coffee.
Do you want to use? Are you intending to use your lantern along here? Just to be clear.
If that's what we were anticipating using was the
I think
torches,
we were
that's
trying
what
to see how many torches it would cost us the first time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we should conserve
So you
the
want to
oil
conserve
as
oil.
much as possible.
So a pot of oil
Yeah.
will burn. I believe it's 12 hours.
Okay.
I want to say. It's actually in the book.
I think it's.
I have a
Six.
lantern and an
Six.
oil pot.
Yeah. So lantern.
6 to 8,
oil-
depending on the
a la-
lantern.
so yeah. So an oil pot. I'll tell you. So a torch burns for 1 hour. And it makes it a little difficult to see, but because of the close, cramped quarters, it probably isn't going to matter all that much. I think for purposes of what we're doing tonight.
Yeah.
So a torch does in fact burn for 1 hour. It casts perfect light 10 yards out. An oil pot lasts for 6 hours and casts light out to 1 to 5 yards. So a lantern does not have good. Sorry, it's 15 yards. My apologies. Lantern's better, but save your lantern.
Copy.
That's my recommendation.
Copy. All right.
The good thing is this is not a long trip by any stretch of the imagination, but you still must.
It takes more time the first time, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
You still have to navigate you need to navigate the way to make sure that that there isn't other dangers lurking out here. You don't really know what to expect. You know the damned are in the streets. You don't know if anyone else or any other dangers beneath in the undercroft. So you're kind of on edge. So we need our scout to make a final easy awareness or stealth test, and I believe that's assisted from Pipistrella.
I really want your assist die.
Not, what's the
Get rid
worst
of the
that could
paddle.
happen?
They're both zeros.
Nice.
5.
Success. Great. So the good thing
Let's
is
go in.
whenever you succeed as a scout,
I'm a little worried.
you imagine everyone. It allows everybody to slink along silently and not make too much noise. You can have quiet conversations between one another. But if there are threats out here to be alerted, success actually reduces the chances of that happening. It reduces the threat level by 1d6 chaos die. The unfortunate part for all of you is that the Undercroft is highly dangerous. But because you managed to succeed your scout test, I need our scout to roll. Well, there's technically 2 of you. So, Tim, you roll 1d6, and Adam, you roll 1d6.
You want to turn that into a 6?
It's been a misfortune to turn that into a 6.
I knew it.
I think.
Oh.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping
We had
Get
4
a free
rolls.
one.
that you would be spending a lot of fortune points at the beginning of this game session, and it looks like that something has happened. Along the way. You find your travels beneath in the Undercroft.
At least we can't be surprised.
That is correct.
We were successful.
That's right. In the Undercroft, you find that at some point or another, from Guillaume and Thomas and everyone else who's leading the way, that a lot of these tunnels seem to be leading to a specific point. You've noticed that the tunnels have changed. They're a little bit more broad. A little bit, the brick is a little bit different. It looks very well cobbled. And the thing that you notice in particular, Pipistrella, is that it seems that you're perhaps beneath somewhere that was intended to be a burial mausoleum at some point. However, it looks like there was a cave-in that would keep you from proceeding forward as you come to a complete stop. You know this is the direction you need to go, but you can see this rock and scrabble kind of spread throughout the cavern where the ceiling is collapsed, but you can see small holes between the rock as you shine your light toward it. The torchlight doesn't really do much to shine through the hole, unfortunately.
The garden's roots run through here.
Question becomes if we can potentially excavate it without risking greater cave-in, right?
No telling. I'm no craftsman. Most of these walls back there had shorens and stuff, right? Timbers. I don't know if I want to risk it.
I wouldn't want to risk it either.
Where's the next closest shoring?
You've found no other way through. This is the way. This is the passage.
I get that, but like, where's the nearest like
Oh yeah, so
thing that's holding up the
So the interesting thing about this particular tunnel, it almost looks like you kind of come into like almost like a widened chamber that's maybe like 9 yards across, and the walls extend up another 9 to 12 yards in arch, and they're supported by stone arches. And where the rock has kind of collapsed, there's this massive mound of rock that's probably about 9 to 12 yards long until it terminates toward the apex of the arch, where you can see there's like this kind of there's spots open up there. Do you want to clamber up and try to look through?
Yeah, I'll head up there and take a look.
You have a lantern?
I would be happy to supply mine. Come on,
If you wouldn't mind me, if you wouldn't mind lending that to me for a moment.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Well, getting up the rock isn't particularly challenging. It's just making certain that you don't drop the lantern. Lantern, get the lantern card. It's a matter of making certain that you don't drop the lantern along the way. You don't want to shatter it. That would be most unfortunate. Maybe we can get this right here. Oh, it's not on. Look at that.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, I think if we did this,
Fun.
and then we did this, we have a lantern.
Oh my god! That's so cool.
In fact, we have a lantern to hand out, but I actually repurposed this one. So if you've got the lantern,
You've
goes
got
on
the
too.
Oh,
I think.
You've got the power.
So awesome.
We'll make sure you've got the lantern. Don't drop it. You get the power, you get the touch. Here you go.
You got the lantern.
You got the lantern. I don't know why it's not turning on.
yeah, that's a bummer.
I'll have to fix it later. I love props.
Does it turn off at a certain time, or?
Nope, let's turn off this. I put a timer on it too, though.
Oh.
I bought these lanterns on Amazon. They're awesome. Regardless, you begin to kind of climb up the rock, and it kind of moves and shifts beneath your footing, Tuman, until you get to the very top, and you turn the you kind of open the shutters of the lantern, and you look through, and the lantern's light is narrow. The shutters are narrow, and there's a shaft of pale light through. I like for you to make a standard awareness test.
Okay. Critical success.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
We are crushing it in the cave.
So,
Wait,
yes,
go,
in fact,
come on.
as you look through, you can see, with the lantern light reflecting off the water in the other side, you can see a reflection in the water of what looks like a gated chamber. Like on the far end of the chamber, there's like almost like a portcullis, a low steel gate that would seal that room off on the far end. But it does look like a continuation of this chamber.
Okay.
You can see that there are inlets where people would have been laying to rest, likely monks. They wouldn't lay just normal people. It's not like an ossuary in that sense. It's actually intended for those who perhaps serve the church to be buried in. You can't really get a clear view of everything in there beyond that, though, off the reflection of the water, if only because the hole is so small and it's so long to get through.
We're almost there. Church is on the other side. I can see I can see where their monks are laid to rest. Well, as he heads back down the pile of debris and hands the lantern back, you can put that out. I've
All right.
got some digging to do. As he pulls out his grave digger spade.
Okay.
Can I assist him with that? Because, yeah, Guillaume's looking pretty excited about this whole thing.
Do you have a shovel?
I don't, but I do have hands.
Okay.
So as you find your hands are kind of lifting up and moving rock, and you're kind of, it's like imagine like trying to move like a pile of gravel. Like your hands aren't really helpful.
It's a shove.
That's
yeah.
right. But you notice that his shovel makes a hissing sound as he shoves it into the rock and literally like scoops out almost a 1.5-foot trench with one movement of the shovel itself. Like it's something. It's one of his sacred remnants. The
Never
grave
mind.
digger
This is,
shovel.
this is vastly more entertaining. You go about your things, Ma.
And as that happens, there's this kind of low rumbling with the first movement of rock. And you can see some rocks kind of tumbling down on the other side.
Toma pauses for a moment to listen for what's to come.
That's not a good sign.
You actually, I think I need to make you to make a challenging scrutinize test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's this is a. I think this test is a call.
So
It's
this will
probably related
be.
to your immediate.
All right, I'll see what happens. All right, I failed.
You can roll. I'm sorry. It's either eavesdrop or scrutinize. My apologies.
Eavesdrop. Okay. Well, either way, I failed.
You're not really sure what to expect. A lot of rock came tumbling down that hill when you sunk the spade into it.
Tomas, do we think we should go back and bring a man who actually knows what he's doing when it comes to something like this?
Like who?
Well, we have two men that work in the trade crafts. They might have an idea. I sure the hell don't know what to do. I see a cave in, but I go back the other way.
Clovis is probably speaking the wisest out of all of us.
Certainly.
We've mapped to this point. We know what we have.
Coming back would be easier, at least.
But don't, I mean, look, I was recently saved by everyone. Time is of the essence, isn't it? If you didn't show up at this right time when I was in the streets, I would be gone. So I think we probably owe it to the possible lives out there to get there sooner than later.
So we spent 13 days reading, and you're telling me we're in a rush. Because I don't see your logic here.
We've already spent 13 days. Should we go
I mean, I know you're in a
dilly-dally?
gown and you're trying to walk around in a pit.
Listen, there's no
Logic is
Why don't we
reason
listen to
there's no
Toma?
reason to fight about it. We've got 6 lives already that we have to worry about.
That's what I'm saying.
I say we head back. We know how to get here. It'll be a lot quicker next time. We'll take someone who knows what they're doing.
Maybe.
Blood's on your hands.
I mean, we have, I can't remember the ox cart master's name. Harlan,
Stall, I believe, yes.
Stahl, and
Kettlesmith.
Harlan. Maybe one of them knows something about this.
Don't you think if they wanted to come, they'd be here?
I mean, it is possible we could perhaps fashion something that might be able to excavate it slowly, granted, but from a safe distance.
Well, I ain't got no gunpowder.
No, but we do have rope and perhaps a handcart, so if we had any way that we could possibly run the handcart up that particular landslide, find a way in which we could actually get it kind of ridge side down, and then attach the rope to it, we move as far away as possible, and then it starts to slowly pull it back, starts to slowly remove that stone. We wouldn't be directly in front of the cave-in. I don't know if it would be entirely possible if the cart would even be strong enough to actually pull anything, or if we would get any grab whatsoever. But it's an idea. I know that Stahl is a metal worker, so I don't know if he's necessarily going to be structural.
I don't know. I didn't know there was anything different.
Clovis is awesome.
I mean, he works with his hands, right?
He makes stuff with.
I'm really,
I'm with you.
I'm
I'm
really
with you.
good at murdering flesh with this metal toothpick. This jabby blade thingy.
I don't do much more than that.
What was on top of this pile, rubble?
That's
on
about-
top. There was that little hole there. I mean, I guess we could.
Looking at the hole, you could potentially try to wriggle through. You just have to leave the cart behind.
Did it get any larger?
Yeah, it's a whole other chamber. It's the rest of the chamber on the other side.
Did the hole itself get any larger?
Oh,
Well, I didn't stick my shovel. I didn't stick my spade in there. If anything's holding anything up on this pile, it's definitely going to be the top.
I'm short and small. I can fit through the hole probably.
I don't know that anyone should be risking squeezing through a hole and then being stuck on the other side.
Yeah, what about?
It's better being here than with Grovis.
It's close.
I know it is. It's intentional.
I love Pip trying. Like, no.
He's like,
What's your name again?
I know.
Pip's
You're
such
like
a
a-
sweet soul.
you're like-
He just doesn't get it.
You're like that girl at the bar, the shitty one. Everyone knows that girl. Like, oh, I fucking hate that girl. I didn't.
Well, if you knew, how come you said Grovis?
Oh, Pip. You're sweet.
Thank you.
A little pat on the head.
All right, it's settled then. We head back.
All right.
I follow the wise leader. Yeah.
You've given up way too soon. You all gained 3 corruption.
Yeah.
And we're gonna need to make dice rolls to go all the way back too. So, to return back to the chateau, we're gonna Guillaume. We need our mapper to make a standard.
Moving straight back.
You know, I think at that point in time it would have been really good to know what your doing was.
Nice try.
It could have helped us out.
Nice try.
We need our mapper, Guillaume, along with an assist die from Suspiriancy to make a folklore or a navigation test.
Critical success.
Don't you jinx me right
I
now.
know.
All right, so 10's first. Beautiful. 30. We'll take the 30 from Sus. What do you know?
Well, the good thing is that because you succeeded, you will ease the terrain by 1 step. So it won't be easy, but it will be routine.
Oh, so sorry.
So 71.
Routine's awesome.
We move next. Do we now need to determine if everyone can survive the encroaching darkness and all of the claustrophobic impact here? It's routine, survival, or toughness.
Okay.
Sorry, routine, survival, or resolve. That probably makes, that makes more sense for resolve. Because the peril you would suffer here is not due to hardship; it's due to like just psychological impact.
Success.
Failure.
Oh, I got the exact same number. What does that mean?
Nothing. I just need to know if you succeeded or failed.
But I mean, I don't know if I succeeded or
What, 72 to
failed,
succeed?
if I have the exact number.
Well, it's a routine
That's usually
task.
when you fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, no. That's the
No,
gimme.
but I'm saying like
Got the gimme.
when it's routine, I need to get 75. I have got 75.
Okay, cool.
Is that a success?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's either you either meet the number or it has to be below.
Okay.
Meter below.
Yeah.
Meet
Anybody
or
fail
below.
that?
I did
Okay.
87.
Yeah. You know the darkness and turning around just kind of gets to you.
There.
Darkness.
Slightly
It is
frustrated
gonna,
I didn't
you
get to
suffer
call it.
14 mental peril.
14 mental
God.
peril. Doesn't really affect me in terms of these numbers because I have which one? Hold on. Impervious mind. When I suffer mental peril, reduce my peril condition track by 1 less step negatively.
I would like to note that Guillaume's peril threshold is wildly high.
It's very high. My first threshold's 10. So
Oh my God.
It's,
I'm
it's
fine.
pretty high.
I'm fine in all this. I'm good.
Mentally tough guy. He's okay.
So now we need to roll for our hireling, who's now pushing the cart back and maintaining the supply. So Tuma, it's going to be a routine test.
Okay. Success.
Okay. Everyone needs to spend 12 more torches in one provision.
I don't have any.
12 more torches? I thought it was quicker to get back.
12 hours there, Tora's back. You didn't complete this journey. That's why your fortune didn't refresh.
I got
around
one
the
torch to
journey.
give.
Alright, well, we need to use your lantern for 2 hours then.
Copy that.
Okay, so mark off 2 hours of light. More from my division.
This way.
So, and then finally, we need our scout to make an awareness or stealth test. It's routine, and Pipistrel is assisting Clovis on this.
20 or a 30, so it doesn't matter. Yep, good.
Cool. So you slink along the stretch and reduce.
Sorry, man.
You manage to reduce the threat level by 1d6 chaos die. I would like for Pipistrella and Tim to both roll a 6-sided die.
Tree.
Misfortune.
2.
I won't spend any fortune this time. You manage to make it back to home. Not too much longer than 12 hours later. By the time you get back, you're all incredibly tired. It's been 24 hours. You emerge back out of the catacomb, or the undercroft, back into the yards. And there are some folk kind of meandering, who are wandering about the yards, but other than that, you come back.
Oh, that was quite the long jaunt.
Well, whether our friends can help us and have this experience or not, next time we go down there, I'm going to go through that hole. I got to get some answers. So.
We need lots more torches.
I'm going to carry the max amount of torches, which is.
Which of the
Just don't
folk in
smoke
Bastion will you speak with? A lot of people you know here.
Well, we might want to see if we can't see if the Beatrice has seen any books on. I don't know what else to call it. What do you call it?
Construction?
Mining,
Engineering, I guess?
construction,
Yeah.
engineering.
Beatrix will inform you that the time she's spent has been mostly going through the Lord
Lords.
Moreau's,
Okay.
his journals, and she's focused on that. Unless you wish her to spend more time looking elsewhere in the library. She can certainly do that.
I mean,
But it could be days until she can find something.
50 days. Okay. And then Harlan.
so what cards do we have? You think? Everyone look through their cards and see if there's anyone that they think would be best to speak with.
Who has Beatrix's card?
I do.
On Beatrix's card, put research equals 2d10 plus 2 days. So anytime you wish to tap into Beatrix's knowledge, it'll take that many days for her to research it alone, but if she can be assisted with that endeavor, you can reduce the number of days based on the results of your die rolls.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's also another, once again, we're kind of trying to gamify your people you work with, and that's what she can offer, is for research. I imagine at some point we'll develop downtime activities around this, but for now, I'll just write that temporarily.
I've got Franklin the Raven.
No more.
Can Franklin go with us and go through the hole?
I could ask, but I don't know if he'd want to. But I mean, doesn't hurt to ask.
Oh, we have Harlan. That's my guy. But I mean, he's an Oxmaster.
The Oxmaster,
Drover.
yeah.
He's a drover. That's not gonna help.
He is, and he's also the one who's manning the walls
Right.
of the Bushwhackers, the 3 sisters.
So
In your to be clear, the people in Bastion, there's Alma the Apothecary,
Right.
Beatrix the Bookbinder, Sybil died, Gretel the Fletcher, Harlan the Oxmaster, Puck Hook the Cleaner, Simon the Small, who is now infirmed, and Stahl the Kettlesmith, who's working on the coach.
Stall.
I think we speak with Stahl.
Stall's the other one.
Y'all want me to move a bunch of rock underneath the undercroft? I can certainly do that, but I gotta put this repairs on the carriage on hold.
That's fine. We made our way down there, and we just didn't quite feel safe digging. Didn't want all that rock coming down around my ears.
So if you went with us, you'd be able to tell. We could help you. But
As long as you have the expertise to know where to dig and what to shore up and stuff.
Well, I can certainly help with that. That's for certain.
The digging itself, I mean, feel free to bring a spade if you want, but we're pretty handy with this thing here.
I can certainly do that.
Seriously, Stahl, it's freakish. You should watch it. It's amazing.
I don't know about using that doodad you got there, but I'll do what I can to help. He smiles. A big, toothy smile.
Much appreciated.
So, a quick heads up for all of you. Technically, all of your NPCs in Bastion are all not minions, underlings. So remember, if underlings suffer an injury, they're dead. If they begin to bleed, they're dead. They don't have fate points. They can defend themselves, but if they suffer an injury, they're killed immediately. Killed.
Do our characters know that they're weaker?
You know, absolutely, you know they're weaker.
Oh.
You don't know those game stats, but you know that they themselves, the Bastion has survived only because of, before you came, because of them, and now because of the two of you. But I'm telling you above board, the thing to be aware of is that these people are literally, they're not as experienced as all of you, but they can help, but you will be putting them in mortal danger if you bring them with you.
The fragile.
They are indeed.
I'll go and say hi to Franklin.
Hey, look at you!
Hey, look
You can
at
hear
you.
this. You hear all these birds squawking and cawing inside the carriage house. As Pipistrella is looking up toward the rafters, and there's all these crows nesting along the rafters. Did you bring those blueberries and whatnot?
Would I? How dare I walk in if I don't have any?
Hey! Feast is on, boys!
I hold out a palmful.
All the birds begin to swarm around Pipistrella, pecking and plucking the blueberries from her hand greedily.
I am hearing a bird speak.
You're hearing a bird speak,
Franklin's
Okay.
a bird.
but from the perspective of Pipistrella, she hears the birds as if they were speaking in New York accents. But Pipistrella is simply speaking to the birds.
Okay.
She basically is just chirping, and you hear them chirping.
Oh, that's
No,
awesome.
she's speaking
I
words.
speak English. Yeah.
Like she's
Oh, I
speaking
didn't-
Ald, the
Well,
common tongue.
Sorry,
Yeah.
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 Oh man, that's awesome.
She's talking just like Adam's talking now, but the birds are squawking.
Awesome. All right.
Would you mind taking a ride on my shoulder? And if there's a place that only you can fit through, taking a quick look for me?
You want me to do what?
Just hang out on my shoulder, and if there's we're going underneath the ground, and if there's a place that's just about this big, and only you can fit through, would you be willing to do that for me?
You see Franklin kind of rub his he rubs his wing against his head. You're gonna have to roll a handle animal test to convince him of this. Or sorry, it's a charm test. My apologies.
Charm.
Yeah, you're going to convince him to do this. Unless there's something else you wish to use in place of it. You can try to coerce him.
Handle animal would be...
Handle was probably fair. Let's do that. Handle. This is going to be challenging.
All right, so that'll be a 49%. And 29 will succeed.
Look at you. The last time I checked, you even got like a wooden leg and an eye patch or anything like that. I ain't no damn parakeet.
Well, would you prefer an arm then, or my head?
Yeah, like a walking stick or something. So at least I feel a little bit at home in the trees. He shivers his feathers. You see the black feathers kind of flipping behind him.
I could get one.
Frank
Yes.
dies. and kills
So
you.
she'll go and collect like a long portion of branch from the dead tree in the center, and fashion something real quick.
Okay. Yeah, not that one.
Oh, okay.
The one that's got the big broad branch.
This one here?
That's perfect. Look at you. It's like you know me or something, Pip.
Well, I would like to think I at least know your name.
You sure do. So we going underground, huh? This bird kind of settles up on this walking stick that's kind of like,
But we gotta sleep first.
yeah. So you'll now have Franklin with you. So we'll kind of do the and we'll figure out a clever way for you to control Franklin,
Sure.
kind of like the animal handler, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how we did that before, where you become, if it's in the middle of combat, you know, whatever it may be. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. As for the rest of you, it will not be an easy rest back at the chateau, knowing the task you have ahead of you, especially knowing that you're bringing somebody who could potentially, whose life is at risk to do something you could not do. So you will all awaken the next day to imperiled. But you now have a potential solve for your getting past the stones.
But we're putting Franklin's life at issue.
Franklin, it's not Franklin you have to worry about. I mean, nobody else really knows. I mean, you don't really know what the bird is or what risk it entails. It's specific. So you're specifically bringing Stall to solve the problem
Okay.
for you.
Yeah.
The
Right.
bird, no. The bird's a bird.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah,
about
and
stall.
like Pip thinks that she can talk to it. That's what everyone else would think. Right?
I would start to believe it like after Guillaume would see like the crow just land on the branch that Pip just pulled off. Like okay, there might be something here.
Yeah.
Seems like a wild ring. I don't think that's gonna happen.
You know why that is, don't you?
I would love to know.
Oh, well, crows are the preferred animal, and ravers, the corvids. They're the preferred animal of the custodian.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So you can just talk to any of these types of birds.
Yes, it is something that the custodian has allowed me to do.
I stand in awe of you and the rest of these heroes of Bastion.
Please do not be in awe of me, but be in awe of her.
Hey! He flips his feathers.
Yeah, Fonzie the fucking crow.
That's exactly what it is. I love it.
Pay yourself, stranger.
He is now
The best
Fonzie.
part is
He's gonna kick the
Fonzie
jukebox
looks
and it's
like
gonna
that.
work. Hey!
Flaps the juice box.
That's right. That's so before you depart, once again, back to where you need to go, because this dungeon area exploration is not yet complete. What sort of additional planning will you make, and do you wish to change your roles for this journey?
Yeah, I think we did well
Yeah.
all around. Besides more torches,
Yeah.
I'll bring my torches.
Moss torches.
I'm gonna bring the 8 torches as well as the oil pad, which is now down 2 hours.
I'm gonna bring 12 torches. How many will bring an encumbrance?
It's
9.
9.
Okay.
So if you're gonna bring,
If you're gonna bring 12, you may as well just bring 18.
Okay.
That's a lot of torches.
because you're already spending the.
I got this big bundle of sticks on my back.
I'm the torch lady now.
Still in your like the ripped gown, and now just like
Yeah.
stacked with torches.
torches.
Imagine what would happen if you got caught on fire with all those torches on you.
That's
Probably
not what
die
you
again.
want your GM to say.
Well, you know,
I mean,
fire is dangerous. I know people like to burn things, so players love to burn things.
I like to burn things.
When have we ever burned it?
We have
I
to
know.
burn. Oh, wait, we have to burn the husk.
Just wait until you get that Fabergé egg and you make a critical failure with your weapon.
Oh my god.
So,
Tim's character, I don't know if you know this, I don't think we actually went because Tim was there. Do you know everybody's Sacred Remnant from last game session?
I think I saw some of them, but I don't really recall
Yeah.
them off the top of
So
my head.
Sarah,
I know yours
what's
is
your?
like you can do 6
let's
feet
do Sarah
down.
and Tim's, and then you can tell us what yours is.
Yeah,
this is
please.
fun. So Sarah, what's your Sacred Remnant you have? On the
Oh.
top. Yeah.
Scales of justice. The balance was given to a merchant prince by a priest of the god emperor. The priest hoped it would make an honest man out of the merchant. Unfortunately, he was wrong. Effect. I can spend 1 fortune point to immediately discern truth from lies, or reveal a trick or an illusion.
Badass.
What's yours, Tim?
Is that the same scales that are on the low table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Dan feels very witty about the same. The Fabergé egg.
I mean,
this-
that's kind of cool.
This unusual pink amethyst is shaped like an egg and was reputedly lain by the steward's favorite cockatrice.
A what?
Cockatrice.
A cockatrice. I don't know. Some kind of fucking bird. Some bird that I don't know.
Big
What,
mythology.
I've never even heard of. Dan explained it the first time. I can't remember
It's
what
a
kind of
it's a
bird.
phoenix in the rewrite.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Once cracked, its shell will put itself back together a few moments later. So once you crack it, it provides you it can provide a full meal, or you can put it on your weapon and it gives it the emulate quality.
Emily.
So it just turns it on fire.
Yeah, which is really helpful for Husk because they don't die unless you light them on fire.
You did that when you saved me.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Oh yeah, so this is why you really hadn't seen my face until I finally pulled it off. But Hood of the Hangman. This tattered, blood-stained hood is perpetually wet with sweat. It weeps blood, and it weeps blood with every cut its wearer makes. A fitting tribute to the Crouching One. Effect: weapons cannot make you bleed, nor can injuries inflicted by them.
Wow.
Handy.
You can't have peril or blood.
Exactly.
Strong.
I am not the most capable at combat, but I can deal with some stuff.
So let's turn back then to the journey back to the pile of rock. We need our mapper, Guillaume. We need you and the assistant Suspiriancy for the standard
Standard.
Don't we
folklore
get
or
some
navigation.
advantages since we've been able to map this?
You have succeeded, yeah. Once you complete this journey successfully, all the fortune will refresh, and then you'll be able to mark this as you'll be able to quote fast travel
Nailed it.
34.
between here and there.
It's
Yeah,
the sus die.
like this in the future.
It's
Yeah,
like,
so-
it's like we're on
Nailed
a wilderness
it.
travel and we had to,
Every
like,
time. It's
camp.
been 3
my
times
only
now.
That always
green one.
sucks.
Yeah, so just a quick above board. Like if you think about how we gamify travel, like in a console game, like once you get to the location, you can unlock fast travel and instantly travel there. In exploration rules in Zweihander, what we're doing for this game is like once you get to somewhere via a journey, a place you've never been to, if you ever need to go back to that place, we use the fast travel rules as opposed to these narrative rules. Because fast travel rules are like you just roll one Dare test, and that's it.
Gotcha.
To see what you expend on the way there and what condition you're in by the time you get there. But because we haven't quote unlocked this location, because we are gamifying some elements of this, you won't have the ability to ease the travel until we actually complete this journey.
Gotcha.
So did you succeed?
Yeah, I got a 34.
I
Okay.
have one more above board
Yes, please go ahead.
comment.
Mhm.
I drank a lot, so I gotta pee again. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Do your thing. Well, so that aside.
What aside?
Well, what you said, you need to go pee, so I just paused the recording.
Oh, well,
I'm going to cut this out, by the way. Probably not. I'm just
No,
going to leave
keep it
it.
on.
What's that? I'm sorry?
I peed.
So I have your
Everything's
consent. I have your consent. It's on camera. We're including that.
Dan says he's gonna cut something out. He doesn't cut it.
I cut nothing, Jon Snow.
You really don't.
So now we need to now that you've succeeded and you succeed your test, we need to make our endure test to see if you can withstand the claustrophobia down here. So it's either a routine survival or toughness, because they did succeed their test, so that makes it a little easier.
Critical success.
Nice.
62.
34.
74 failure.
You really don't like it down here.
Oh,
do you?
critical success.
What'd you roll?
11.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So do we have just one failure?
An auspice is. Yeah, that's me.
So whoever
It was.
Crit success.
whoever crit succeeded can share their comfort with another PC that failed their check, so one other PC may automatically succeed as a result.
Oh my god. Giving it to you.
What does that mean? Like along the way back, like what comfort is? I don't mean like
Comfort Sus is giving? Yes.
right.
Go on.
I do have a soft spot in my heart for old Pipistrella. So, as a comfort, I will look to Pipistrella and say, "You look a little green in the face. You doing okay?
That's more color than I usually have.
Are you okay?"
Well, I mean, I guess that's an existential question.
All right, and then I'll just give you a pat.
Are we friends now? No, seriously. She didn't say that.
She thinks everyone's her friend.
Yeah, she already assumes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
so long.
It's
So
these sorts of moments that makes life worth living before you die.
Okay.
Oh my God, Pipistrella.
Just happy and dark. We need our hireling to make a routine healer survival test now. That's Toma.
I'm gonna reroll it.
Okay.
Pretty good chance. Critical success.
Yay, let's go.
Nice. Well,
That's what's supposed to happen when you
the great thing is that you spend 12 torches and 1 day's worth of provisions, everybody. So mark it off.
I'm gonna get rid of my 8 torches and
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would actually like to get rid of all 12 with me, so
Go
I
ahead.
can go down if that's okay.
If you would have had another endure test on this stretch, you would have been able to ignore it because he crit succeeded, but you don't. Because this is a short
So
stretch.
can we have
But I believe that every crit success should be rewarded. So I'm just going to give you all of your misfortune and fortune to refresh the pool.
Nice.
That's badass.
Don't expect that every
We've ever
time.
had.
I don't expect it every time, but today I think it makes sense.
It's at this point that
Gorgeous.
Pipistrella goes, do we have any... We have the group provisions, right?
Yes.
As you see that Pipistrella doesn't have any provisions on her, nor any torches.
Then I will give her food.
And then finally, we need our scout to make awareness or stealth its routine and add an assist die for Pipistrella.
Guillaume will also just hand you 4 torches.
She is laden
Crit,
with...
crit,
Oh, she's
crit,
good?
crit,
Alright.
crit, crit.
No way!
So it's all Adam's dice. Adam's dice has rolled better every time. I just need to be rolling your dice.
But Adam can't roll for shit.
He can't roll for shit. But I roll his dice well.
The interesting thing about a scout is not only do you reduce the threat level by 1d6 cast die, but because you critically succeeded, if you encounter any danger, you actually gain a surprise round.
Oh.
If any danger happens along the way.
Hot damn.
And to conclude this travel, we need Adam and Tim to both roll 1d6 cast die.
Oh.
Did you roll 6?
Yeah.
I rolled a 5.
Oh, I love it. This is such a great way to end the session because I think by the time that you excavate and manage to squeeze through the rock with Stahl's help, something's going to happen on the other side. But fortunately, you'll begin the combat encounter with a surprise round. So,
Oh, fun.
that's it for tonight. We'll stop here. This is where we will end this session. It's a good end too. It's a fitting end.
I enjoyed your crit.
Solid celebration. Solid celebration.
I rarely get them.
Yeah. So I think what we should do. So we have corruption tonight, don't we?
The wrong
We do.
crits.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna roll the 1d6 die here for corruption. The value tonight is 3. So if your corruption is 3 or lower, you get a chaos rank.
Yep.
No.
No.
3 or above.
Yes. If it's 3 or
Or higher.
higher. Yeah.
What, you
Sure,
guys,
higher.
every
Sorry,
time,
yes,
every
correct.
time.
If
Every we
it's
do this.
oh, if
Well,
it's 3
I will.
4,
I will
5.
read this
Definitely
aloud because we do
Every
this
time.
every
Yeah.
time.
Here we go
Yeah,
again.
we don't need to. No, you don't
Every
read it. You
time.
don't need to. It's what we said.
Yeah. So whenever corruption is rolled,
So everybody got corruption.
yeah.
Do
So
I-
if the corruption die is equal to or lesser than any corruption gained, the player gains
Yeah.
1 chaos rank on their corruption
The
tracker.
corruption.
You can't
die.
mock the GM while you're playing the game,
Or as I
sir.
said.
If the corruption
So 3
die
or
is
greater.
greater than the corruption you earned, you gain 1 order rank. If you had no corruption, choose if you want to go 1 step up the chaos or the order rank. It's up to you.
Gotcha. Everybody got corruption.
Yeah, we all.
Yeah, so everybody got a chaos rank tonight.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
right.
Because we all had 3.
We
Yeah.
all had 3.
Yeah.
I had
So,
4.
Let's talk about tonight's session. Let's talk about character perspectives, the story, what's going to happen next, kind of where everybody's kind of feeling.
First of all, awesome. Had a bunch of fun. These are really cool characters, man. It's just very fun to be kind of that outside looking in perspective and seeing, for instance, Thomas just like moving Earth like breathing, or having someone like talk in all common and like clearly having a bird respond actively. Absolutely wonderful.
This is your first like real in-world session too.
Yeah, exactly. The previous
Yeah.
was like a combat session. But yeah, absolute hoot. I have my leads that I want to look at, that I want to start pulling at. So yeah, excited.
It'll be fun strings to pull when I get when
Yeah.
we play next.
Yeah.
I've been slowly feeding Dave some stuff tonight, and then he and I talked a little bit beforehand too. So we'll move next to Pipistrella.
She's having a hard time, like, dealing with the fact that what we're doing is in service of the custodian, but kind of doing things against her at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, we're digging through this mausoleum that had collapsed. We're disturbing it. We're moving the bones around. We're creating an ossuary, but you know, it's just like things that she shouldn't normally do. She's doing in service, but it's all at the ultimate goal of like ridding the world of these abominations. So, also trying to help everyone out, but in order to help people out, she needs to know personal information. She just can't do that.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Did
She can't- she
Suspiriancy
can't-
tell you her
No.
doing?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
I thought I did.
Oh.
She's the only one that did do.
Yeah.
No,
Paige.
Paige
Paige
did.
did.
Oh.
Yeah, Aspillicent did.
Oh, and then after she did, everyone was like, "Whoa, why'd you do that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry about it, because one person has, you'll get to see why it's important, because it will come up. So let role playing happen. I'm enjoying this.
I know everybody's doomings, and just as a game master, I try to tailor narrative toward them.
Yeah.
So let's move next to Suspiriancy Rhymes with Beyonce.
You did it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that she's super annoying right now, but she is going back into a groove. She was from nobility. She was an aristocrat, so she doesn't know any other way to be right now. So and then at the beginning of the game, we started talking hierarchies. And that is just her bread and butter.
Right.
So when she tasted maybe possibly a little bit of power because Tomas said he was the leader, all she wanted to do was be second. So she's, it's a game of life or death right now with the things, but really
Suspiriansi is only concerned about
About
climbing the
standing.
social ladder.
So you're the
Butters.
Starscream to Tomas Megatron.
It always has to be that way. There's always got to be someone.
That's right. Always.
One to wield the power and
What
one
about
to create it.
what about for clothes tonight?
It's hard for him to bring people, like risking other people. So he kind of sees this as a test. Can we do this in the future, or have we made a giant mistake?
I really didn't want to tip my hand to tell you what the stakes would be until you made that decision.
But...
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you that these people were highly expendable. But I've tried to impress through our sessions. This is obviously new for the two of you. I tried to impress the importance of the settlement, the number of people here, and that you're risking their lives, and they have to do something that you can't do yourselves. But they are resources to be tapped into, and we'll continue to gamify those elements as we continue. But so last but not least, Tomas.
I think for Tomas, his critical moment in this session was when he made the decision to turn back. 12 hours into the journey. It felt bad because I knew some people definitely wanted to hurry up and get it done, but it almost felt like it's like a sunk cost fallacy situation with him, where he was like, if we jump in and take this risk now, something really bad could happen, and I have others to think about. So I had to make this difficult decision to turn back and again risk someone else's life by bringing in Stahl too. So it was one of those situations where I just had to be the leader and make the decision rather than hemming and hawing about it, because this group will do that.
And speaking of which, just a quick above board, thank you by the way for that, a quick above board reminder. So when we begin the next session, we'll have a short narrative introduction. You will be a combat encounter. You will gain a surprise round. We're going to put you right in the thick of it. But Stahl will be on the board, and you will have to protect him, like those annoying PS2 escort missions. You'll have to keep Stahl alive.
Does he walk just slow enough where it's annoying to keep up with?
Yeah, he's the world's worst AI, which is me. No, we will probably hand Stahl off as a card.
Okay.
For somebody else to control his actions in combat. Mm-hmm. I think that's probody smart. We'll delegate however we want to do that.
I'm just gonna body block. That's it.
That's right.
Body block.
I'm gonna push him in front of
That's
me.
right. I'm gonna wreck it. So yeah, we'll have a board. And for those who are watching, because I have to mention this, we have a new meeting owl. So hopefully this looks better, sounds better. On our end, when we look at the monitor across the way, I think it all looks clearer, and it's moving much at a steadier clip. Although I think when you first started talking, Nick, at the beginning of the game session, I think I had mistakenly turned off the ignore area onto you, but I reset that very quickly.
Okay, I noticed I was talking earlier and wasn't going on.
Yeah.
Me, so I was like,
I think it was the ignore area was on, but it's fixed now. So
yeah, I think I'm in there.
Ignore.
We love you, Meeting Owl.
Yeah.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, I did an unboxing video of the Meeting Owl, and I made an ASMR video unintentionally, by the way, which is now on YouTube. And I tagged them, and they reshared it.
Yes,
nice.
ASMR unboxing.
Of the Meeting Owl. I did not intend to do it. I was gonna voice over it.
I did bring this, so.
Oh God, no!
Sorry.
Our first sponsorship has to be
High Chews.
High Shoes. High Shoes,
Bye.
please sponsor us next week.
Okay.
See you guys then.
Bye bye.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Or hey.
Hey.
Hey there, viewers. If you like what you're seeing, take the next step. Head on over to our Patreon, where we create content for Zweihander and other games. Just go to grimandperilous.com and click on the Patreon button. Thanks.